Thought we'd start off the program today talking about one of, if not the most important strategies in all of health and nutrition, and that is something called caloric restriction, calorie restriction, or basically eating less food. This is probably the single most important anti-disease and anti-aging and pro-longevity health-promoting strategy you could ever employ. Calories are about heat. A calorie is a unit of heat. A calorie represents work, and a calorie represents a depletion of nutritional resources, especially so-called high-calorie junk foods that have lots of calories and no nutrients and that comprise the bulk of the caloric intake for most of us who are subsisting on the standard American diet, or SAD. Last week, researchers from the Yale University School of Medicine announced that they found a natural anti-pain and anti-inflammatory compound that's produced in the body when we fast, that's produced in the body when we suppress our appetite or eat less food. In other words, less food, more of this anti-inflammatory compound, more of this pain-relieving compound. When foods are not processed correctly and you get changes in the little bacteria that live in the digestive system, the little critters that detoxify hormones and drugs and foods and detoxify poison substances, heavy metals, and help us digest our meals and communicate with our intestines, these little critters that are called probiotics. When food's not processed correctly, these little critters, these probiotics, begin to change. The population of probiotics changes. The secretions of those probiotics change. And toxic gases can be emitted from these bacteria. Toxic wastes can be emitted from these bacteria in response to the wrong kinds of foods, or in response to incompletely digested foods, or antibiotic-packed foods that ultimately end up killing these little bacteria and ultimately change the populations and the type of secretions that come out of these bacteria and ultimately change what is in our body. Between incompletely processed foods, between these bacterial wastes in the blood, the scene is set for major body toxicity. One of the most important systems in the body when it comes to toxicity and also digestive health is the liver. Now, even though the liver produces or performs many functions, hundreds of different functions in the body, in terms of detox and hormone producing and digesting foods, that's really where the liver shines. And there is an important relationship between the intestines and the liver. It's no coincidence, friends, that 30% of Americans are dealing with fatty liver disease. It's no coincidence that 30% of Americans are dealing with digestive distress and digestive diseases. And this is worse as we get older and as our bodies break down and changes start to accrue. This is really the beginnings of the disease process. Once you have dysfunction in the digestive system, once you have changes in bacteria, these probiotics and wastes and bacterial toxins make their way into the bloodstream through the intestinal wall, eventually it's going to affect the liver, and from there, friends, it affects every other system in the body. Once the liver is messed up, one of the most important symptoms that follows is hormone dysfunction, especially when it comes to female hormones, especially when it comes to PMS and fibroids and endometriosis and thyroid issues and, God forbid, even cancer. Keep in mind now, this is all following the liver breakdown, and it's all following digestive breakdown, especially when it comes to gut bacteria, these probiotics that live in the gut. And listen up now. When it comes to the liver, the health of the liver, when it comes to the intestines, the health of the intestines, and when it comes to the population of bacteria that live in the gut, these so-called probiotics, there is nothing a doctor or a drug or a surgical procedure can do to improve your health. There's nothing a doctor or a drug or a surgical procedure can do for the health of your liver, for the health of your intestines, for the health of your bacteria. If you're thinking you're going to go to a doctor to have your digestive system taken care of or your liver taken care of, or any of your degenerative disease taken care of, you have bought the Kool-Aid. You've drank the Kool-Aid, and it truly is a fool's errand to expect a doctor or any representative of the medical model to turn your health around. But that's not a problem. We could do it ourselves. The medical model, which profits on our fear and confusion and thrives on us giving up and saying, you take care of me, the medical model that tries to be our parent and tries to daddy us and mommy us, the medical model is not required for health. The medical model is not required for the reversal of degenerative disease. So what do you do if you're dealing with a chronic degenerative disease? First of all, change the way we eat. Eating less food first is the first thing you can do. Fasting you can do. Suero V and the Beyond Organic products from Jordan Rubens are a great way to get yourself into a fast. And, of course, the Biolumin Nightly Essence, the probiotics. Youngevity's probiotic product that contains digestive enzymes can also be helpful. Make sure you're eating fermented foods. Fermented foods help replace bacteria. Eating less foods, using digestive enzymes, the ultimate enzymes with a little apple cider vinegar are wonderful for supporting digestive health. Use your Mighty 90 essential nutrients. One of the great all-time liver supplements, by the way, is vitamin C, and you're going to get lots of vitamin C in your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You guys, health is simple. Nobody has to suffer from a degenerative disease crisis, and there's nothing the medical model can do if you are. But that doesn't matter, because with the Mighty 90 essential nutrients and a couple easy strategies that we can help you understand on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, we can do it all ourselves. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552 toll free. We'll take time out and come back with more good health information on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program right after this. Don't go away. For you, I'll be sitting in for the next 45 minutes or so, as I always do, with my good friend Doug Winfrey. What's up, Douglas?
Well, Fox News has their medical advisor, Dr. Manny Alvarez, and this story here is where someone wrote a question to him, and the question is, Dear Dr. Manny, I notice that whenever I eat red grapes, I get a headache. Could there be something in them that is causing this to happen? And they say for many headache and migraine sufferers, certain foods can act as triggers. Alvarez says that grapes are low in calories and rich in vitamin C and fiber, but they also contain a substance called tyramine, a naturally occurring amino acid that forms from the breakdown of protein in the food as it ages. They say tyramine can cause your blood pressure to rise, which can trigger headaches in some people. If you're experiencing this reaction, then avoid trigger foods such as smoked or cured meats, aged cheeses, citrus fruits, sauerkraut, soy sauce, red wine, and certain beers. Research shows that tyramine in grapes can have a negative effect on certain antidepressants called MAOIs. Patients taking these medications should talk to their doctor about their diet. Also, keeping a food diary, something I've heard you talk about quite a bit. And if you're sensitive to a tyramine-rich food, you could also just avoid it, is the bottom line on that.
That's not a bad idea. You forgot about, or whoever that was, Dr. Manny forgot to say avocados are a source of tyramine, and also processed meats. Yes, avocados.
I just had avocados last night.
Did it give you a headache?
Nope.
No, then you're okay.
That's pretty rich in
it's great.
Essential fatty acids as well.
Essential fats and vitamins, and it's just an amazing food, super spectacular food, and not to mention unbelievably delicious. Maybe the most delicious of all the natural foods that aren't kind of sweet, aside from the sweet natural foods. I think avocados are at the top of the list of God's delicious foods. Unprocessed delicious foods.
Yeah, fortunately out here in California, they're very plentiful year-round, whereas when I grew up in the Midwest, they were a seasonal thing. You only saw them certain times a year.
Right. You're blessed where you are. You're not just in California. You're in the green basket of the world right there in Santa Cruz. That's an amazing place for vegetables.
Yeah, we get lots of methyl bromide here.
You do, and that's another problem with grapes, by the way, that Dr. Manny forgot to mention. They are loaded with pesticides, and because grapes are so small, they tend to concentrate the pesticides, and it's almost impossible to avoid the pesticide if you're doing grapes. If you're doing a bigger fruit, you can, of course, get rid of the peel. But with grapes, because the peel is so thin and because the fruit is so small, it's almost impossible to avoid pesticides. And grapes are they may be the number one most pesticide-laden fruit. They're certainly up there. Apples are up there, too. But grapes are really up there. And that can cause migraine headaches. And your point is very well taken, Doug. We don't, and Dr. Manny's point, we don't associate foods with our diseases. It's counterintuitive for some reason. I was talking to a gal today, and she actually had called me up. She was complaining that she feels her body looks like it's pregnant, but she's not pregnant. Her belly is bloated, and she was insisting to me that it had to do with mercury and had nothing to do with food. And she insisted it all began when she got mercury poison. It has nothing to do with food because she looked into that, and it happens no matter what she eats. This idea that our foods are related to migraine headaches or digestive problems or arthritis, it just doesn't compute for some reason, and we gotta make an intuitive leap to understand the relationship between foods and our health crises. But if you really want to watch it, if you really want to observe the effect of foods on your health, or the effect of foods on your lack of health or health issues, all you got to do is stop eating for a day. And I'm telling you what, Doug, we were joking around off the air. You were saying how you do fast every day between meals. And it's actually true. Between meals is one of the few times that your digestive system gets a break, gets a food holiday is what I like to call a fast. Now, of course, if you have food in the system, it has to be cleared out and processed before you can get the benefits of the fasting. But once you eliminate foods, you stop eating for a day or two, lots of very interesting things happen. And if you're one of those folks that can't fast or think you can't fast, I'm going to give you an easy way, an easy tip, a tip that you can incorporate to make your fast much easier to accomplish. We'll do that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, 888-379-2552 toll free. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. So before we went to break, we were talking about fasting. Doug, you were making a little joke, but it was pretty serious, actually. You fast between meals. That's for most people.
Well, I don't generally eat lunch, so I go about 12 hours between meals.
Good. That's probably one of the reasons why you're looking so healthy, and you're, for an old guy, not that you're an old guy, but you're looking pretty darn healthy.
I'm a young 56.
You are, and you don't take any medications, and you're not in and out of the doctor's office. And
I didn't even take aspirin.
Well, I'll tell you what. And by the way, the latest news on Tylenol just came out, how long-term Tylenol can be a problem. That's
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Oh,
right? People think aspirin and Tylenol are benign. And
there's a perception out there, and I run into this all the time, because I've been doing this so long. Most of the people that I associate with on a day-to-day basis, know that I have a bit of a knowledge base when it comes to the medical industry and the health.
Quite a bit. Don't undersell yourself. Quite a bit.
It's amazing to me how many people, because something's over the counter, they think there's no risk involved.
Yeah, that's right. Nexium is now over the counter, and they're talking about putting statin drugs over the counter, aspirin and Tylenol. Aspirin might not have even gotten approved if it was released today because of the GI bleeding issue, the toxicity issue, and now that we have problems with Tylenol. Pharmacists knew that there were problems with Tylenol. They told us that back in 1986 when I graduated pharmacy school. But anyway, what I was saying before we went to our break is that there's simple, easy ways that you can exploit or leverage the advantages of fasting, and there's lots of advantages. One of the most important advantages, I'll tell you some strategies here in a sec, but one of the most important advantages when you fast is your body starts to make more of a special chemical called butyric acid. And this butyric acid is the active component or the flavor component in butter, and it has powerful anti-inflammatory and anti-pain benefits. And the less food you eat, the more butyric acid your body's going to make. In fact, fasting is one of the most powerful ways to boost up the levels of butyric acid in the blood. And now researchers believe that it's the butyric acid associated with fasting that accounts for fasting's long recognized and well-known benefits for pain, for reducing pain and reducing inflammation. And if you're one of those people that can't do a fast, let me give you a couple quick and easy strategies. First of all, get yourself on the Beyond Organic Suero V. I'm sipping on it right now. I'm not going to do a full fast today, but I'm not going to eat very much. And one of the ways I do a fast, and I do a fast maybe 2 or 3 times a month, 2 or 3 days a month, and then I don't eat a lot of food the rest of the time. And one of the ways I keep myself from eating food is by making sure I'm drinking a couple of these Suero V bottles every day. When I'm fasting, I'm drinking a bottle every couple of hours, but at least 2 a day, and that allows me to eat less calories. It's ridiculously cheap, and one of the neat advantages of the Suero V is you're getting potassium, and you're getting sodium, and you're getting fermented probiotics from the fermented whey. And by the way, Jordan Rubin is a digestive system expert, so much so that he actually breeds his own cattle and raises his own cattle that he has bred himself specifically to have dairy that does not include the problematic proteins that are associated with most milk. So this is a conscientiously designed and conscientiously formulated product and product line, and you can get it from your Youngevity rep. Just another one of the great Youngevity products. It's called Suero V, and it's a great way to ease yourself in to the fasting lifestyle. Great way to ease yourself into doing a fast. There's another really interesting strategy that you can do if you have a good high-powered blender, and I'll tell you what that is when we come back from our break, and we'll take your phone calls as well. When we come back, our number is 831-685-1080. That's our priority line number, or toll-free 888-379-2552. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Dr. Wallach today. You are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. We're coming back right after this. Your calls here in just a sec. I was going to add one more hot little tip for you guys who are wanting to leverage the power of a good fast. In addition to sipping on your Swear V from Beyond Organics, and you want to do about half a bottle every hour or so a bottle or even up to 2 bottles every couple of hours, make sure you sip on a little Beyond Tangy Tangerine. If you can't handle a good fast, if you can't handle a fast because you feel weak or you feel tired, just have a little tiny bit of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Not too much. All you need is a little bit just to keep you going. So with your Swear V, you might throw in some Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and if you're like most folks, it should have no problem going through a fast. So significantly, you have the problems, your fasting problems can be eliminated so significantly that when you comes time to eat, you may not even want to eat. Have you ever noticed that, Doug? When you do a fast, it's like almost hard for you to do that next meal.
No, not me. I don't have a problem at all.
I always have a problem. I got to force myself a little bit to do it. Did you ever have food poisoning, by the way?
Yes, I have.
Doesn't that kill your appetite?
It did that day. Yeah, I got food poisoning on New Year's Eve one time. Ruined my whole evening.
Yeah, that's pretty hideous.
I stopped at a restaurant on the way home and had plans later that night, and I ate a meal, and before I could even get home.
Bad New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But did you notice that when your food poisoning was over, that it was a little bit harder to eat?
Oh, I know. I wasn't hungry.
You weren't hungry, right?
Wasn't hungry for fried chicken, that's for sure.
That's right, exactly. In order for us to be able to eat those kinds of food, we have to really desensitize ourselves. And after you have food poisoning, or after you get sick, or even after you fast, you've resensitized your taste buds, you've resensitized your digestive response so much so that you're oftentimes a lot more careful about what you eat after you spend a day or two of not eating, if it's either because you got sick or because you intentionally fasted. All right, our number today, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Who's our first call, Douglas?
All right, let's head to Illinois and Sahara. You're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hello, Sahara.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Is that like Sahara Desert?
It is.
Very cool. That's a beautiful name. What's going on? How can we help you?
I've been a member of Longevity for a few months, and I'm looking to start the weight loss program. But I came across a friend yesterday, and she's on a high-protein local vendor here.
Say that again, a high-protein local vendor? What do you mean?
Yeah, so she's doing a local vendor here in Illinois that provides, meals and everything and vitamins for her.
So for weight loss, specifically for weight loss?
Correct.
Oh, how interesting is that? That's kind of a good idea. So how can we help you? What's your question?
So I was wondering between here and because I was trying to explain to her our program. I haven't joined it yet, so I want to try it.
She can still do her program, but tell her to include some Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And if she wants to go all out, she should probably include the whole Healthy Start Pack. Unless I would find it doubtful that whoever her vendor is providing her with the Mighty 90 essential nutrients, and those are always the basics, and that would be the Healthy Start Pack. And if she wants to do a couple more things, she might want to consider the Fucoid Z or the Z Radical, and then also the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Both of those can have a nice positive effect on digestive health and allow her to get more nutrients out of her food, more nutrient bang for her buck. And that's a really important strategy when it comes to losing weight. So many times we eat foods because we're not getting the nutrients that we need. And when we get our nutrients in a supplemental fashion, almost automatically we just eat less food. And this happens almost across the board to folks who start the longevity program. They always say they don't feel like eating as much food. They always say they're losing weight, but they're not even trying to lose weight. Why? Because so many times we eat simply to get the nutrition. And when you get the nutrition without the calories, oftentimes you don't even need to eat the food. Thanks so much for your call, Sahara. Appreciate it. Hope we helped you out. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552. We're coming back at you with more good nutritional information right after this break. Don't go away.
All right, let's head to Mobile, Alabama. And Connie, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Greetings, Connie. What's up?
Hi, Ben. This is Connie.
Hello.
I buried a dog in my yard that had mange.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
it got into my yard and got on me. I've treated my animals with ivermectin, and they have no symptoms, but I have been through every medication I could hear of.
Huh. What did you use? Tell me what you've been using.
I've been through topical ivermectin, rubbing it on the spots from the veterinarian, from the feed store, I got a bottle of ivermectin, and I've taken the ivermectin tablets, but I go out in the yard and get reinfected. Doctor, in his book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, he recommends 1% gamma-benzene hexachloride and 25% benzyl benzoate cream for adults. I don't know where to find that.
Get yourself a compounding pharmacy. Benzyl benzoate is, most compounding pharmacies will have that. Tell me the first one again. I didn't quite catch that. Gamma-benzene hexachloride, is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, gamma, that's kind of a derivative of something called Lindane. Have you ever heard of that? That's a prescription drug. So both of those you can get. Did you try Lindane yet?
No, I can't find it here.
Okay. Even in a compounding pharmacy?
I don't.
You should be able to find one. Let me give you let me think if I can remember the phone number. I forgot the phone number. Look up, you got a pen?
I do.
Look up PCCA. And they're a pharmacy organization out of Texas, and they have affiliations with pharmacies all over the country, and they help them make things, and they provide them with chemicals that ordinarily pharmacies don't have, but pharmacies used to have. So if you call PCCA and ask them for a compounding pharmacy in the mobile area that carries those gamma-benzene hexachloride and a benzyl benzoate, they can help you. PCCA, Pharmacy Compounding Centers of America, PCCA. That's a plug for them out of Houston.
Pharmacy Compounding what?
Pharmacy Compounding Centers of America. Look up PCCA. Call them up. I forgot the phone number. I used to know the phone number. And then tell them I'm looking for a compounding pharmacy in Mobile, Alabama that can provide me with gamma-benzene hexachloride and benzyl benzoate. Okay.
God bless you.
God bless you as well. Good luck. That's awful. That sounds awful.
Thank
take
you.
care. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, I was watching the Food Channel, Doug. Do you know there's a barbecue restaurant in Mobile, Alabama, where they have not changed the grease for 80 years?
Yuck.
It's the same, and apparently it makes the barbecue taste better. That's what they said on the Food Channel.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one.
I was going to ask. I meant to ask.
You know how rancid that probably is?
I don't know, but it's got a lot of flavor.
I'd say so, yeah.
80 years. This is on the Food Channel. I'm not making this up. All right, who's next on the line, Doug?
All right, let's head to Oklahoma, and Darlene, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Darlene.
Well, hello
What's going
there.
on? How you doing?
Hey, I wanted to put a plug in for longevity. I got involved with longevity about 2.5 years ago, and I had cancer in my mouth, and I no longer have that now. And the only thing I did was took longevity products, a Healthy Start Pack for 7 months, and that's all gone now.
And it just disappeared. It just disappeared.
Yeah.
Now, how? Let me ask you.
But what I'm calling about.
No, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something quickly,
sure.
Darlene. I'll let you get to it in a second. When that happens, don't you feel like telling every single person you know? Don't you feel like standing on the rooftop and just screaming, right? That's what happens once you start to experience this. You want everybody to know, because it's no fun to be healthy by yourself. You want your friends to be healthy. You want your family to be healthy. You want everybody to be healthy. That's why I do this program, and that's why people are so excited once they experience the kind of results you're experiencing. And if you haven't been to the convention, Darlene, I don't know if you've been to Longevity's convention, which is coming up here in a couple weeks, but you hear stories like this over and over and over and over again. So if you're out there and you're part of the Longevity family and you're not planning on attending the convention, let me persuade you otherwise. Please come. It's very, very inspiring.
I am going.
Oh, good deal. Make sure you stop.
I'm excited about it. I'm bringing a carload of people with me.
Oh, good deal. Make sure you stop me and say hello, Darlene, okay?
I will do that. I will do that.
Okay, what's going on?
Okay, well, my daughter is 11 years old.
All right.
And about a year ago, I discovered she has cataracts.
No way.
And but let me tell you what I did for a long time. I used to give her wheat germ oil, and apparently I got a hold of some rancid wheat germ oil.
No, that wouldn't do it, sweetheart. That's not going to do it. But that's
okay.
No, that's not going to do it. But there's something percolating in there, because cataracts usually only happen after many, many decades of messed up chemistry. Usually sugar chemistry and then digestive chemistry. So you need to find out what else is going on, because she does not just have cataracts. There's something else happening. If you want some quick down and dirt, you got to look for other symptoms. Nobody will just have cataracts. There'll be other things going on. Most especially digestive system and blood sugar issues. First, work on the digestive system. Cataracts, for the listeners, are caused by a reaction between sugar and also toxins and sometimes even the sun and the lens of the eye, creating a clouding effect. It basically damages the lens of the eye. Usually it's associated with blood sugar and blood sugar changes. So there's probably a component of diabetes or prediabetes, and also what can be involved is a lack of absorption of nutrients that are protective to the eyes. Believe it or not, this is kind of interesting. The most eye protective nutrients are in vegetables, and they're the colors of vegetables, the greens and the reds and the yellows and the oranges. When we eat those colors, they go through our digestive system and they go into our blood, and then they go into the eyes, and they get deposited in the eyes to protect the eyes from the sun. They'll also get deposited in the skin to protect your skin from the sun, but you've got to make sure you're digesting food correctly and absorbing your nutrients. And oftentimes people who have cataracts don't absorb these nutrients. So what you want to help your daughter do, number one, is you want to help her digest foods, maybe grind up her vegetables before she eats them, maybe put a little butter in with her vegetables. Butter can help draw out these fatty nutrients, and also using vegetable juices. Make sure she's using the Mighty 90 Essential Nutrients, of course, sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It wouldn't hurt her to throw in a little Vision FX, which is made with these colored nutrients and eye vitamins as well. And then also, if you want to do a couple more things, you might want to consider the fucoidan Z or the Z radical, which contains something called fucoidan, obviously, which is a seaweed-like product that has ingredients in it that can also be protective for the eyes. So digestive system, blood sugar system, use the Mighty 90 Essential Nutrients, especially the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, throw in some Vision FX, and you might also want to consider the fucoidan Z or the Z radical. And absolutely, positively, Darlene, look for other symptoms. There's something else going on. Nobody just has cataracts, whether it's an adult or whether it's a kid. Nobody just has cataracts. Cataracts are the end result of something else, and we got to find out what that something else is. Thanks so much for your call, and make sure you say hi to me when we're in Ontario in a couple weeks at the convention. Thanks, Darlene. Hope we helped you. Okay, who's next? Douglas?
Let's head to Canada, and David, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, David.
Hi, guys. Good afternoon.
How's it going, man? Where in Canada are you?
I'm from Toronto, Ontario.
All right, good deal. How can we help you today?
I've been taking the brain and body package, and I have skin problems. So I have psoriasis, mainly on my scalp, and eczema, and acne, and
Okay, well, we can help you with all that. All right, you ready to go? You want some help?
All right. Yeah.
All right. And by the way, I've been in the skincare business, formulating skincare products. I just sold a company that I started many years ago, a skincare company. I've been designing compounding pharmacy, skincare products in my compounding pharmacy. So I know a lot about the skin. And if I had to tell you or anybody one thing about the skin, I would tell you this. Your skin problems don't have to do with your skin. Skin problems, whether it's acne, psoriasis, or eczema, are not about the skin. The skin is the end result of the problem. Much like with our last caller, Darlene, the cataracts aren't the problem. They're the end result of the problem. And same with you, my friend. Your eczema, your psoriasis, your acne are not the problem. They're the end result of the problem. If you try to treat the end result of the problem without treating the problem, it's not going to work. But if you treat the problem, the end result will go away. So hang tight, and we'll tell you about that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, and 888-379-2552 toll free. We're coming back right after this. Don't go away. All right, we are back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552 toll free. We're north of the border. Talking to Dave in Toronto. Are you there, David?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so not just for Dave, but also for Dave, but for anybody listening who's got a skin problem or a scalp problem or psoriasis or eczema or acne, it is not the skin that's the problem. The skin is only the manifestation of the problem, the end result of the problem. It's always going to be in the digestive tract. Number one, focus on gluten and food intolerances. You might want to do a food holiday or fast where you stop eating foods and then introduce foods one at a time and watch what happens. Alternatively, you can look for flare-ups. Flare-ups are always very important information because when something flares up, no matter what it is, a blood pressure issue or a mental health issue or migraine issue or skin issue, when it flares up, you ask yourself, or hopefully you're writing things down, what did you do an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours? And over time, you'll notice every time you do something, you get a flare-up. So if you can connect your flare-ups to something you're doing, especially foods, that's the first thing you want to do. Then you want to start to patch up the digestive system. Use the Biolumin Nightly Essence, 4 capsules in the morning, 4 capsules at night. The Fucoidan Z, 2 or 3 capsules in the morning, 2 or 3 capsules at night. Make sure you're on the Healthy Start Pack. I'd be taking 9 of the essential fatty acids. There's a very important relationship between the skin and EFAs. So use 9 of your ultimate EFAs, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and 3 at night. And you might want to consider using your ultimate enzymes with your ultimate EFAs to make sure you're getting the maximum benefit of the ultimate EFAs. And then see if you can also use your ultimate enzymes with fatty meals and fatty foods. That will help you extract some of those fatty nutrients that are important for the skin. Most importantly, you don't have a skin problem, you got an internal problem. It usually involves a food combination, anyway, of a food intolerance, some kind of digestive health issue, and fats and fatty vitamins and fats absorption. So using your ultimate enzymes and taking your ultimate EFAs and your entire Healthy Start Pack and even foods with your ultimate enzymes can help. Thanks so much for your call, Dave. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more in, Douglas, before we go.
All right, let's head to New York. And Steve, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Steve.
Hello, Pharmacist Ben. Great job. I just want to back up a couple things. I wanted to talk about Auric, but I did want to tell you that I got involved with longevity with my sister, who was on about 23 medications at the age of about 58.
Oh, my gosh.
And we went to see Dr. Glidden speak, and she basically got off about 21 of her 23 medications in about 8 months.
Awesome.
She was on a CPAP machine, and she turned that in, and they looked at her cross-eyed. They said, people don't do that. She goes, I don't need it anymore.
Hey, let me ask you, before you continue, will you shoot me an email? I want to talk to you personally. Can you shoot me an email and put your phone number on there? ben@ksco.com.
Do what? Where's the email?
Send an email to Ben at K for King, S for Sam, C for Cat, O for Oscar.com. And if you don't mind, put your phone number on there. I want to talk to you personally.
No problem.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. We only have about a minute or two. What's going on?
Okay, I want to know more about the Auric scores because I noticed that on the new product, they don't list the Auric score on the label. They used to have it on the old BTT.
Yeah.
That's the new one.
So
in other words, just wondering if there was ever a way that we could kind of help people who have issues like Parkinson's and stuff, and they need to get their Aurics up there. It's kind of hard to shoot around and figure out like.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely. It is. And you know what? It's really much ado about nothing. You know, for example, prunes are typically, or they're known anyway as the highest ORAC value food, and they got an ORAC value of 14,000 or so. And then the next highest is blueberries, and they have an ORAC value of 13,000. The difference between 13,000 and 14,000, it's not that significant, and it doesn't really matter. So somebody tells you, well, our product is 14,000, others say 12,000. That's not really relevant. What's relevant is making sure you've got a steady stream of antioxidants coming into the body. The ORAC value of one particular antioxidant is less important than making sure you have a steady stream of high antioxidant capacity or ORAC score nutrients coming into your system. And if you mix up prunes and you mix up wild blueberry and you mix up the Immortalium and you mix up the Beyond Tangerine, that's not really the problem, as significant a problem as making sure you're getting them throughout the day. In fact, making sure you're getting your nutrients throughout the day. In fact, making sure you're getting your nutrients at all. Folks, if you're not on a nutritional supplement program, you are leaving health on the table. And if you're dealing with a chronic degenerative disease and you're seeing your doctor and you're not on a nutritional supplement program, you're playing with fire. You're not doing yourself any good. Find out what it's all about. Talk to your longevity rep. And you can even start a business and make some money while you're at it. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben for Doug Winfrey and all the folks at the ZBS Radio Network. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a spectacular, wonderful day. Bye for now.